Hello, my YouTube family. Welcome to this lesson. Now, I want to show you how I actually build this automated expenses tracker in Excel. It is so wonderful in such a way that it can be used for any kinds of tracking, whether from a business to personal. Now, let me quickly show you the features and how to use it. Now, here, this payment voucher number, this automatically generates the next number accordingly, or if you want to enter your payment voucher manually, you can actually enter it here manually and get rid of this formula that I have here. Then here you have your date, and then here you have the category that I have worked on, but of course you can modify it. If you want to use it for personal, to track your personal expenses, you have categories like food, utility, education, transport, health, savings and investment. And if you are a business, you have categories like research and development, maintenance, salary, marketing, and you can have others like advertising and so many others. So depending on the purpose of usage, you can of course customize this category to suit your purpose. So let's say I want to use to track my personal expenses or the expenses of my business. So this is the payment voucher number, this is the date, this is the category, and this is the purpose I've entered, and this is the amount. And here also I have all kinds of payment method, cash transfer and all of that. So select the one that you actually use, and then here the approved by. If you're a business, you want to of course use it to track the expenses of your business. I know there must be somebody that will approve the payment voucher before of course you can work on it, you as an accountant. So the approval, you can have as many names as possible, or if you want to use it for your personal expenses, then simply have your name there or get rid of this particular column. So after you have entered your expenses, click on add, and then we have expenses added to database. Then click on OK. Now the beauty of this is that the macro automatically, this expenses tracker automatically generate the next payment voucher number. So this is auto, and then the one you have entered, it will take you to this database where it's going to lodge it in. So this is the one that we just enter. Let me show you clearly. So this is the one that we just enter in that place. And of course, if you want to enter a new one, simply click on this button clear, and then it clear the entries but only leave the next payment voucher number that is available for you to use. And then you can now enter a new entry and click on add. So this is particularly useful for everyone, for businesses, for individual, for schools, for churches, for any kinds of stuff. So you just simply use it to track your expenses. I have the tables here, the categories, so you can simply modify this to suit your purpose. You can modify this to suit your purpose. You can modify this also to suit your purpose. So clearly this is something that is useful for everyone. I'm going to leave this file, this complete file, in the description. Download it and make use of it. Meantime, follow me step by step as we build this automated expenses tracker in Excel. Follow me. Thank you. All right, welcome back, guys. So let's build our automated expenses tracker in Excel. Now, the first thing you need to do is just open a blank Excel workbook, and then just click on File and go to Save As. Then choose any location you want to save this work to. I want to have it on my desktop, and then I want to select macro enabled workbook, Excel macro enabled workbook, because I want to of course use basic VBA code later in the course of the lesson. So I'll select this and then I'll give it a name. So I want to have it as a expenses tracker, and then I'll click on save, and then this is very important. Now after that, now the next thing I want to do is that, for example, I want to increase, I want to zoom this to around 250, as the case may be, depending on the size of your screen. So, and after that, let me have my entries. I'm going to enter my basic entry. Yeah, I'll start from Now this is what we are. These are just the basic entries, so let's do a bit some basic formatting. So let me decrease this and also decrease the width like this. I want to merge this way, merge and center, and then I'll give it change the background color to or change it to this, and then I'll change the color of the text to white, and then I can of course bold expenses. And then also the column width, click on it, right click, column width, change this to 16. And then for column D also right click on it and change the column width also, change the column width to 16. And then for C, column C, the column width, change it to around 25. And then for column E, change the column width also, column width to 25 as the case may be, and then we have it that way. So the next thing for us to do is that let me do a piece of basic formatting here. I want to change the color. Let me pick light blue this way, and then this also I want to have this formatting. So we let's just change the color text. Our font size. I want to change everything. I want to have it as let me decrease it to 10, and I think it is okay. So let's go to insert, and then go to shapes and select this, draw it this way. Let me enlarge it a bit, and then just right click on it, and then click on edit text, and then you click on add, and you can edit the text. Go to home this way, and then you bold it this way. Okay, this is good. So you can increase it a bit. Yeah, this is good. Then change the color. So go to shape format, and then I want to change the color to, let me see, I think this is good, green. And then what I will do is that I'll simply copy, and then I'll paste. So drag it to make it into 2, and then edit this, give it clear, and then you can change the color to red as the case may be. And then we have, so we are going to assign the macro later. Then let's rename this, and we are going to have it as entry. We have that as, let's have a new sheet here, and then we rename, we can call it list. That's where we're going to have our tables for data validation. And then let's have our tables. So I'm going to have 3 tables here. So we now have a list of our tables. The first one, let me just put it this way. The first one, we have the payment method, and then the second one, the approved by, and then the third one, we have the category, the expenses category. Now these are your payment method we are going to use data validation for, and then the approval, you can have as many names as possible, but we are using this for a personal expenses tracker. I don't believe you need this. And then for the expenses category, if you are using it for personal expenses tracker, I think these are the ones that you need. But if you are using it for business, these are the ones that you need, or you can just customize it. But make sure that your expenses category is no more than 10, whether for business or for personal. The smaller the better. So the fewer the better, I mean to say. So let's just go. So here we're going to have a data validation here. We don't need to put anything here. That's going to be auto generated. And then for day, you don't need to have it. We're going to enter it manually. And then for category, so let's have our data validations here. So we go to data validation, and then we select list, and then in the source file we go to our list, and then since it's a category, we pick this, as a list, and then we click on enter. So anytime we want to enter expenses, we have our category displayed for us. You can just select anything, and then purpose, you just enter that manually as in form of a description to write a short note about what that expenses is all about. And then for amount to be entered manually. Then payment method, we can have a data validation for that also. And then we go to our list, and then payment method, we have this. So depending on, so we have that validation also you can select. And then the approved by, like I said, if you are using this as a personal tracker, I don't think you need this, or you can just put your name there, whichever. So let's go to data validation, and then select a list. The source by, the approved by, you can just have the name or click on OK, and then we have that one also. So approved by and all others, we have that one also, and then we have it. So the next thing for us to do is that let's create another sheet. I'm going to call that sheet database. I don't call it database. Now what we want to do is that we want to make sure that whatever expenses that is entered in this place is automatically exported to this place. So let me just increase this a bit to around 160%. I think that's okay. You can also increase this to fit into your page. Now we have that. So let's go into that. So let's go. We have and then we just have it. So we want to make sure that whatever we put here is exported to the other sheet. Now, so we need to write VBA code so that whatever we actually the expenses we enter into this place is automatically put here by Excel. In order to do that, we're going to write VBA code, but we are not going to do it ourselves. We're going to make it of use of ChatGPT, and then we only need to provide the prompt. Now this is the prompt that we are going to use. Now we have this from the what we need ChatGPT to do. We have the data name entry. The PV number is in cell C3. Now if you come here, you'll see that this is PV number and this is B3. This is the PV number is in cell C3. So this is C3, the date in C4, the category C5, and the purpose C6. And then if we go to amount E3, E4 online the payment method, and approved by E5. That's the prompt that we have provided there. So our PV number in C3, date in C4, category C5, purpose in C6, the amount E3, then E4, then approved by is in cell E5. And then the destination, we have provided that the file should be exported to a sheet named database, and then we've provided the column, the header, in PV number in column A, date in column B, and so on and so forth. And then we have the approved by in column G. So if we go to our Excel sheet, discover that under database, discover that that's what we have from column A to column G, and that is where we are expected to Excel is expected to export that data to. And then the functionality, the code should find the next empty row in the database sheet and paste the data from the entry sheet there, and that is what we want Excel to do, the code to do. And then we ask ChatGPT not to clear Excel, not to clear the entry after copying, and then we tell it to provide a confirmation message after successful export. And then so we copy this prompt. We can use any of the AI, whether ChatGPT, whether CivDig or anything, to get this code. Just copy this prompt. I'm going to drop it in the description as the case may be. So just copy this prompt and modify it for your use. So go to open your ChatGPT, go to it and paste this prompt, and then it will write the code for you. So let's wait for it, and then you see that ChatGPT is actually writing the code for us. and then we have it. So all you have to do is copy this code and go back to your Excel sheet entry and press on Alt F11. Press on Alt F11 to open your VBA editor, and then click on Insert and then Module, Insert Module, and paste the code you have copied from ChatGPT. Just paste the code here and close the editor. Now for us, if you want to actually work on this, we want Excel to provide the payment voucher number automatically, or if you are using this as a personal expenses tracker, you can just have it as serial number or something to track your expenses. So if you want to do that, now what we'll do is that we make use of the max function. We say max, and then we go to the database sheet, and then we reference this, and then we close our parentheses. To give us the next, we just say plus, let's say +1, and then it's able to. So this will go on and on. So every time you need to enter an expenses, just click on it, and then it will supply you the next available payment voucher number, and as the case may be, or payment tracking expenses number, as the case may be. So what you have to do, are done with that. So right click on this icon, go to assign macro, and then you see the macro here, then click on OK, and then it is done. So let's enter our first expenses. Let's enter our first expenses. So the payment voucher or the serial number is 1. The date, you can say this is 1/1/2025, and then category, you can click this drop down to show you the category. These are the categories that we have. You can say education, and then here the purpose, just a brief description. Let me have it this way. The amount, let me have it as 90,000. So I can provide a format. You can just have a format here, and then put the currency sign, as the case may be. So I can, let me just have it as this there, and then payment channel, bank transfer, check, credit card, POS. So let me just pick online, and then approval, you can, like I said, you can just do as you wish. Then click on this, and then you see expenses added to database sheet successively. That is what we want Excel to do, and that's rightly done it for us. So we click on OK, and let's go and check the expenses database, and then we see that that transaction has been added. That transaction has been added. What I can do to this is that I can turn it into a table. Insert table, my table has header, yes, OK, and then we have it this way. Let me click here to filter button. I don't want it to be there, so just click here, then we have it. So as many as possible, you can continue to enter your expenses. Now if you want to enter the next one, we only have to click on clear, but the clear button is not active yet. So let's see. You can see that immediately we added the first expenses, Excel has provided us with the next available number, which is 2. Now if I decide to say, let me just say something here, 85,000, and then if I decide to add it again, expenses added, that of course giving us the next available number, and that one too has been added to our database sheet. Now that is that. Now let's get a button to clear up these expenses so that we can enter a new one. So in order for us to do that, go to the developer tab. Let me click on record macro, and then give it a name. So this time I'll say clear. I'll just call it clear, and then I'll click on OK. I'll click on OK, and then the macro is recording, so I'll select this and delete. I'll select this also, and of course delete it, and then I'll stop the macro. Now after stopping the macro, now go to the macro, and then clear. This is the clear. Then go to edit, and then this is the macro. So this is the code. Copy it Ctrl C, and then go back to ChatGPT. Now paste this code in ChatGPT. Paste the code in ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to do what? Optimize this code, and just click on enter and then wait for it, and then you can see. So just copy and then go back to your VBA editor and then paste the code here, and then close the VBA editor, close this, and then come back. So whenever you enter an expenses, let me put a date category. Let's have it as transport. Purpose, amount, I can have it as 8,000, and then payment method, cash, approved by James Long. Transport, you can. So once you are done, let me edit this. Click on add. It's been added to the database, and then click on clear. Okay, we have now assigned this macro. Go to assign macro and then clear. This is it, clear, and then click on OK. You have assigned. So just click on clear, and then you see that the form is now ready for another entry. So that is how it is, and then we have this. So this will continue to happen as long as possible. So this can be used for personal expenses, can be used to track the expenses of your company or your business, as the case may be.